going to be the din, right? Can two Eidim be craving to each other? No. We're going to see. It's the next sim in the Shulchan Aruch. No, the Eidim, they're not. Who cares if they're negated over? They're not benefiting from giving Eidos.
Two brothers can't watch something?
Yeah, two brothers see something going down. Why can't they testify? Really? So two brothers see something. Why can't they testify? Who cares if they're related to each other?
It's always most of Aaron. We said already.
Right. So the question is why not? And whatever. Let's say the reason may be because you can't do kasha zomam. Whatever the reason is, right? What happens if two people saw something when they were craving, but then through divorce, death in the family, whatever it is, they're no longer craving anymore?
You had that already, no?
No. Can they testify? We spoke about.
You got the beginning and the end.
So you've got, well, is that called the beginning? They will crave him. The Eidim, we spoke about whether an Eid is Korev to the Baldova, then is Israchik. What if the Eidim themselves will crave him to each other?
It'll be less important.
And then they see a Maisa. Can they now be made now? What? If Eidim see Kiddush HaChayim. But then they... Yeah. And Meshachar the Eved.
It's not bad, that.
Yeah.
When you're making the next one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the father and the Eved.
When you're making.
Father and son.
Father and son.
Toen Rabani.
Okay. So then the Meshachar the Eved you made with him? So you mean even though it was possible when he saw it, but now, yeah, but that's the case where he was possible Gufay. The shayla is if the Eidim are craving to each other.
Okay.
Is that different?
Why didn't they allow the father and son to begin this? Not the Eved.
Because they're still craving. They were craving when they saw it, and they're still craving when they made it.
The evidence is not kosher to begin with.
Oh.
Okay, interesting question. Maybe we'll see it, hopefully, Be'ez Hashem, if you have time. What is
This was his question yesterday.
Yeah.
What?
Is it psul in the person or psul in the Eidos? That was your question, remember?
Tomorrow's Rosh Chodesh. We're going to have share. What's the story tomorrow?
No.
Maybe we'll call it for 10:30. Hopefully it'll be done by then. I'll be done by then?
Two cakes.
Uh-huh.
I think tomorrow. Let's go
I might keep safe.
Okay.
So we'll start later tomorrow.
Okay.
Give them time to finish up. But we don't want to miss it again. Okay, so it says the Shach. We're in the middle of the Shach on page Reish Tes in the Shulchan Aruch. Siman Lamed Gimel.
1 minute.
Seif Tes Zayin in the Shach. We were in the two big columns, halfway down the first column.
Oh, here we are. Yes, we're at Mishum the
Lisa?
V'im Kain, what? We'll start from V'im Kain. He's going to quickly recap the last. It's over here. It's about 2/5 of the way down the page. 3 lines from the end. V'im Kain Muchak Lahedya. First word line is Bein L'Rava, Bein L'Ravashi. Philip bin L'Ravashais. Even by Din L'Ravashi, Treifa is Kosher L'Hayiv.
Wait. What's the first word of line?
Bein. The Bein. Bein L'Rava, Bein L'Ravashi.
All right. Where's him can? More than one Bein?
Yeah. Bein L'Rava, Bein L'Ravashi.
Oh.
Even by din in the fashais, treifa can be made mitzad atzmai. There's no psul of a treifa being made. There's no din that treifa can't be made. Of course he can. Vein the pasal mitzad passes begufay. Right? Ela Ravashi. Vein the pasal mitzad passes gufay. There's no psul in his guf. It's not there's a din that it has to be a gesunter mensch, right? Bari v'sholim. Ela. Ravashi possible, but then in the Fashes Mishum, She'enai b'Zayim. The reason why a treifa you can't be made is because you can't do kasha zomim on the Eidim.
That's still Pesach.
Mishum the Gavra Katila Boiler Mikdol. They tried to kill the dead man walking with a month to live. Avalei Eidah Shi Ato Yochal Azima Kapish B'Rashi Sham. That's why you can't do. That's why you can't accept a treifa for an aid, because you can't do zoymin, right? The Zelo Shaykh Klal b'Mammon. This whole thing is not Shaykh Klal with Mammon because just because a guy's a trefa doesn't mean he can't cough up, right? Even if he's Adam, this Aid is a trefa. Turns out he's a He's a liar, so let him pay. He might a trefa. Just because a guy's a trefa means he can't pay. Let him swipe his credit card, right? I mean, you could understand the guy's on his deathbed, he's going to die, he can't pay. You can't get the money out of him. What are you going to tell him? Pay or we'll give you more? Because he's dead in 2 weeks, in 2 minutes, right? Masha Kosov Amardachi, Kolzman Shuchai Vein a Trefa. Haim Shudamaya Bedin in the when the Mordechai is talking about a trefa can't be made, the Mordechai is talking about one case and one case only. Didn't name the Foshes. So when the Mordechai says that a trefa can't be made, there's anybody in the Foshes because you can't do kasher zomam, right? So Gamash Kosov Adachim Moshe Vasmasha Dasan Amuka Yosef Parakach Bedin Mamos with the Mordechai Parak Zet Bayre B'Shemri the Mamoin Leibin Eidish Hadei Zima. They all say that by moment you don't need Eidish Shata Yochal Zima for whatever reason. Again, they hold that by moment you don't need Eidish Shata Yochal Zima. Even if you can't be Mazim the guy, it's still a kosher Eidish. Later, why? The Adar Rabba. Punkt verkehrt. B'Mordechai Sham mashma lehedya ipcha. That's mashma exactly the opposite. The Maisis Yerushalmi, he brings Yerushalmi. The Eidim Akrevim L'Dayanim Psulim. What's it then? Yerushalmi says Eidim Akrevim L'Dayanim Psulim. If the witness is the judge's brother, he's possible. Bishum Tibin Eidim Shah Yechol Azima. You have to be able to give the aid the same din. You got to be able to punish the aid. Umashma Medvarov, Taim Yimaman. And this mashma there, what's he talking about? The Yerushalmi is talking about mamonis. And if the aid is covered dying, so the dying is not going to give his brother to pay the $1 million, right? So that's why you can't have aid covered dying. So you see from this Yerushalmi, he's talking about mamonis, and there's still a problem of aid l'shiat echol azima. V'chei mashma medivri Anuka Yosef perak ha'chayva. U'masha kosav Anuka Yosef reish perak echad dinim mamonis. He says, Dini Mominus, Leiba'in Drisha v'Chakira. Everyone knows this, we've said this 100 times. By Dini Mominus, you don't have to do a Drisha v'Chakira.
And
you don't ask them. Umino Leiba'in Eider Shatei Chalazima. And from here we see.
One's not connected with the other.
No, it is. Because if you ask them where.
If they don't have to say where it is, then you can't imagine them. If you don't know when or where it happened, how are you going to say you were with us? You didn't say where it was, right? I mean, no, you see from here, the loy ba'ina and eidah sheyachal azima. It must be you don't need that yachal azima. If you don't need the rishuv v'chakira, you don't have to ask him when it happens. Of course, you don't need the rishuv v'chakira. The time of the rishuv v'chakira. What's the whole reason you need the rishuv v'chakira? B'shuv the ba'ina and eidah sheyachal azima who ad kan l'shaynai. So it's mashma from this Muka Yosef. By moments you don't need that Yachal Azima. Again, by Edus you don't need that Yachal Azima, and that's why you don't need Rishuv Chakira, because you don't need that Yachal Azima. So what's the Lema? He's explaining now. Explaining the Muka Yosef. Says the Shach. What's the Lema? The Lechatchila, Leipin Lachka, you don't have to do a Rishuv Chakira, Rishuv Edus Yachal Azima. The Lechatchila ain't medakkim b'zeh. Lechatchila you don't have to do it. Shom shalitin al dalis b'fnei loivin. So what he's saying is that, of course, they have to know when it happened. It has to be Yochal Azima, but don't ask the guy too many questions. We don't want to stop people lending money. We don't want to shut all the banks down. She made a lot of takonas that people should be able to borrow money, no? Unbelievable thing.
Rabbi Goldstein says, everyone knows all the lomdas, but the one lomdas they don't know is the payback. Rabbi Goldstein says that he's serious.
I think this is what we saw yesterday. This is what we saw yesterday. No,
we stopped up here yesterday.
No, I'm talking about, we saw it in the Rambam.
We printed it out for us.
Right. The Rambam says, even we don't ask the aid of this loan when it happened, but Mistama, he knows, right? We just don't demand he actually testifies. It has to be able to do azama. Oh, David. You have to be able to do azama. Aval.
Especially for you.
Take the vat.
Oh, my girls wanted the cake today. Aval.
What a big.
Im Yoid Bevadai. Page Reish Test in the Shach, first column.
Oh my God.
Enough for you?
Hand me the pie. I've got it.
Keep it away from
You
the.
want some more?
Aval. Im.
Look at the small piece. What do you think this is? He's
Aval.
He's paying 50 shekels.
Aval Im Yadina Bevadai She'ein Yoidim Bezer and Bezer Shach. If we know you're dying, and you know that the Eidim do not know when and where it happened, by Dinim Mominus, and in that case, it's impossible to be Muslim the guy. You asked Aid, when did Reuven let him in the money? He says, I have no idea. So it's definitely then Lav Eidusu. That's Bechal not Eidus. You hear the klal is, if it's impossible to be Muslim these Eidim, it's not Eidus. That's not Eidus. There has to be an option of being Muslim. And we're going to have to use this method to explain the Bala Eter. Shebesoif ois kuf, kroivim daf lamates omid gimel, I guess that means. What does that mean? I don't know. Kosa. Shaloi you eidim kroivim malve v'ledayonim. The Bala Eter says that eidim can't be related to the dayonim, right? You've got to be able to do azama on the Eidim, right? So and since the dying is the mishpacha of this aid, he can't be a carver of the dying.
Why
he doesn't say-
Why is the mouth there?
They can't be a carver of the mal because he's negay bedova, or the dying because then you can't do azama.
It doesn't say to each other.
They can.
For either of them,
What about the laver?
they can't be related to any of them, right?
Oh, that's the
He
point.
It
says-
doesn't say to each other. It doesn't say to.
He doesn't say to each other, but he says for the Alma, we see from the Bala Eter, the Be'ina B'momen Eidush at Yochal Azima. Black and white, it has to be Eidush at Yochal Azima. For the Ale, Ba'asu Daf Ba'omad Aleph, Kosov, Dvat Torah. This is the Gemara. Dvat Torah, Echad Din in Mominus, Vechad Din in the Farshais, Medusha V'Chakira. Mid the Raisa, you always need Dusha V'Chakira. You always need Dusha V'Chakira. Ad Kadesh, like that's very live in. The whole reason why by Mominus you don't do Dusha V'Chakira is that people shouldn't shut the bank down, right? Hilkuch, like being Eidush at Yochal Azima, Ela B'Din in the Farshais, Ad Kan Shainai. So it's black and white. He's saying that the reason why you don't need Dusha V'Chakira it's like Dallas, but really b'daraisa, of course you need it. Okay, v'chem hashgos Rambam, Seif Perek Yitzay Milchas Malva V'leiva, v'zel Hashonim. Mikana Tolomet, it says the Rambam, Shishta, we saw this yesterday also, Mikana Tolomet, Shishta she'ein b'mokim, Oizman, Kasha. If you have a shtar, and it doesn't say when and where it was written, it's Kasha. Even though it's impossible to be mazim these eidim on the shtar, she'ein medaktim b'din imaminus b'disha v'chakira k'meshis ba'ash l'tinav that's b'leivin. So the Rambam we saw yesterday says if a shtar doesn't have the time and date, it's kasha. Why? We don't want people to stop lending money. That guy is coming, he doesn't know the date, he gets the time wrong. You know what? He doesn't put anything down. I lend you $100 and that's it. It's a good shtar, right? L'tinav that's b'leivin. Lefikach. Right? Ad Kan Shayna. That's the Rambam. Venira. Where's the Rambam getting this? He's getting this from this Gemara in Echadin Mominus. Take a look at the Magid Mishnah. Did we see the Magid Mishnah yesterday?
No.
So he says, Hainu Nami. I'll read it. He quotes him here. It would be nice to see it inside, but I don't have one. Hainu Nami Delina Lechatchila Loi Beina Lechakram Veleda Imam Eida Shoim Lazoma. Lechatchila, you don't need to do Dusha V'Chakira. Famina mistama edim yoidim amokum azman. It's enough that the Dayim say to themselves, mistama they know, right? If a guy comes and says, don't ask him anywhere about Reuven or Shimon $100. If he says I don't know, then it's a worth say this, right? We can assume that the guy knows just because he doesn't say. Oh, but what happens if they makish each other? They contradict each other. You ask them, when did it happen? He says in America, he says in Italy, he says it happened on Monday, he says it happened on Wednesday, right? So what's it in?
Lock him up.
Edus is bottle. The Edus is bottle. The Edus is bottle. That's worthless. They don't have to. You don't have to ask them. But if they volunteer the information, they contradict each other. The Edus is bottle. Mishum to be in Edus Shemula Zoma. You've got to be able to be Muslim. Why is it bottle? Says the Shach. This is interesting. Listen to this line. Why would you assume that Edus is bottle? One, he comes and says it happened on Sunday. The other, he says it happened on Monday. It's bottle. Why?
You have to say.
Well, you can bring someone who says, wait a minute, who is in Toledo on that day?
But there's only one Eid. You mean you're going to be Muslim one of the Eidim?
Yeah.
So you could be Muslim
Or,
one.
or another one says, nah, he was in San Francisco that day. You can makish both of them.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure why you can't be Muslim. Be Muslim one of them. Okay.
Hij zegt dat hij doet some batla mishum Iran Eidus Sheuli Lahazoma.
Right. Why? So why is this not really that Zoma?
Because to contradict each other,
Yeah.
then the time is not known.
So two Eidim say you with me on Sunday, and two Eidim say you with me on Monday. Why can't you Muslim them?
Hij was de store had de date or not?
We're talking about there's no show. There's just Eidim. Eidim say I saw he lent him money. One says it was Sunday. One says it was Monday. Possible. Why? What does it mean?
Aren't they Huzam themselves?
Oh, you don't need to come out that Zoma. They're contradicting themselves. They're lying. One of them's lying. Or both of them are lying. Why is the Shach saying that if they contradict each other, it's Yat Echol Azima? Say better. One of them's a fat liar. We know they're lying.
If it's 1 day difference, then
3 day difference. It's a 3 day
One day
difference.
Gemara says, well,
So there are one guy says it happened on January, the
They
other
don't
one says it happened in
necessarily
February.
contradict each other. I mean, let's say the thing happened 5 years ago. And they're like, okay, so your memory wasn't so sharp.
If you don't know, say you don't know. If you're not 100% sure, say you're not. If you say, I remember exactly it happened
Okay,
on Rosh Hashanah 10 years ago. The other guy says, I remember it happened on Simchas Torah 10 years ago. So one of you's lying.
Yeah.
Habibi, that's how it happened, right? Why is he saying that?
Or maybe there were two
It's
loans.
bottled because you can't be Muslim. And even, I don't understand the Svar itself. What does it mean you can't be Muslim? Of course you can. One guy says happens in January. You bring Adam, Imani Yusuf in January. The other said happens in February. Imani Yusuf in February. Why can't be Muslim, these two guys? Just because they're contradictory. Well, you can't find two Adam to Muslim?
Right.
I'm not sure exactly what he's saying. I'm not the only one, by the way, but just to point that out.
oh, thank
No,
God.
you should think I'm enough of a bar guy that I am, but not to argue with the Shach.
A bit louder, bit louder, bit louder.
He's going to prove all this from the Rambam, the Smag, the Shach. Okay. Shaharei. Haran b'seif ksuvas, maybe divrei Rambam, seif beg yuz zayim ilchazim alveh. Haran seif beg ksuvas, v'relei the gam, but inimominus, pa'ina and eidish roila zoma. The Ran says, by mominus, you need roila zoma. Elevate k'mosh kasafti, the what? You need a zoma, but you don't have to ask them. We'll assume that they know. Okay? The re machshir edus hakrevim of the yonam. Oh, we're about to hit the next part, the next column. We're halfway through. Baruch Hashem. So the re says edus that relate to the dayanim. They're good. What?
Edus that what?
The edim can be family members of the dayanim.
Wow.
The dayan sitting there, and he calls in his children to be made, and then he paskins.
Hello, Dad. Hello, Dad.
So, like Moshe Vinu Adak Moshe Vasma. It's not like the Darche Moshe and the Sma says the Haynu Mitam the moment bin Shat Yochel Azima. It's not because by moment you don't need that Yochel Azima. The Sma and the Darche Moshe prove from this din of the Re that he held that by moment you don't need that Yochel Azima. Because the die and the father can't tell his son you have to pay. He's negebedava. He'll never do it, right? And other Abba, how's he going to do this? Hold your breath. He's going to prove. Of course, he has to be Mukhal Azama. Why? Sharikos of Madach Hashem Vari Machshir. Basic Suvas Gabi Aid V'Dayin Mitzdarfin. The Ri himself says that Aid V'Dayin Mitzdarif. Adkan.
Therefore,
Aid Vidayan Mitzdarf.
You can take the aid from the case and a Dayan to testify in a different base din.
why
Right?
not?
Well, in the different basin, it's not a diet.
The Dayan becomes the aid.
Yeah.
In other words, this base din didn't get around to Paskining, right? Or they Paskin and I don't know. The scribe forgot to write the psak. He doesn't have the psak written down. So they go to a different base din, and the aid and the Dayan together say, we're testifying that this is what Reuven owes Shimon $100. And then that base din, same case, then that base din, the second base din, will pass against him. Okay. Aid Dayan Zachen Adkan, a preg basic suvus.
What's wrong with that?
I think he's going to explain.
Explain it.
A preg basic suvus sham kosataisis ein aid nasa dayan. An aid can't become a dayan. Hatam kosh kosavus rashbam. V'yesh mishfarshim mishum the bein aid shat yochalazima. The aid is you always have to be able to be mazim. V'im aidim nasim dayanim. Now, if the aid can become a dayan, aid shen yochalazima he. Then you can't be mazim him. Shalai kabel azama. That's one. He's not going to say that he himself was lying and now he has to pay.
But he's not.
Right?
It's not a diner.
You mean Azama is dependent upon the judge?
The judge is the guy that says, Eidim Mokazei Mona Yisem. Now the judge is going to say, okay, so now you pay. You try to be Machayev Reuven, you're lying, you pay. Right? But if the dying is mishpacha of the aid, the dying's not going to say it. Tell his son, now you pay. Now that we found out that you're the liar here, right?
But this is not mishpacha. This is an aid.
It's not
A dine became an aid.
So if the aid becomes a dayan, and
No,
that
the
means
other way around.
if the aid becomes a dayan, if the dayan says I'm going to paskin in this case and I'm an aid, so now Aiden walk in and say to the dayan, but you were with us in Mexico when this happened. You can't be a dayan. So what's he going to say? Now I have to pay. I'm busted. No, he's not ever. He's never going to convict himself. Or the carvets a lot So
Who says
It's the other way
Azama
around.
is the psak of the Dayan? Azama is the fact that it just comes out that they.
yeah, no, but you have to be able to give the Aiden the same din, the same. They tried to punch the other guy with, right?
I understand.
So who's going to do that? The judge? The judge is going to say, okay, now I'm going to convict myself. It turns out I lied, now I'm guilty. Now I've got to pay.
So
He's
you're
not going to do that.
Defining Azama as
It's got to be the whole deal. Not just that we prove he's lying.
Okay.
You have to be able to.
Got it.
They've got the aid. In other words, the aid has to have that fear that he better be telling the truth, or he could end up with the same punishment.
Right.
They'll put him to death. They'll be mechayev him the $1 million, right?
But here's the other way around. Here, the dine became an aid.
That's a different case.
ואם העדים נעשו דיונים אלו שנדרזים היא, שלא יקבלו הזום על עצמנו. מי הוא? Hold on. לפי טעם זה, אם העדים קרבים לדיונים, אינם יכולים להעיד. ולא יקבלו הזום עליהם. In that case, the aidim, if the aidim relate to דיונים, they can't testify, ולא יקבלו הזום עליהם. אלא, כיוון דבני הזומנין הוא בבייסן אחר, the shach says, since you're right, this Dayan can't testify against him because it's his son, but guess what? This guy's going to take him to a different basin. You go to a different basin, that's called Eid Shtei Cholazim. You're right, this Dayan, the Eid is related to the Dayan, and this Dayan will never convict his son, right, to pay the $1 million. But guess what? The Malva, the Leiva, he'll take this Eid to a different basin, and they'll be
The
convicted.
Dayan is not going to convict the aide. He's going to convict the one of the litigants.
But then he won't. He's got no business. The Dayan's not related to the Malva, the Leiva. That's also right. So he's got no business. He's got no motivation to say the Malva owes, the Leiva owes. That he's got no motivation. But one thing he does care about is that his son won't have to pay the aid. He shouldn't have to pay up the $1 million because he lied. So you're right. The father won't convict. Right. So the father of the Dayan won't convict the son. But guess what? The Malva, the Leiva will go to a different basin and say, in this basin, so-and-so lied. The Dayan, we couldn't go to that Dayan because it was his son. I want you to convict him. We want the money for the kasha. We want the kasha Zomengeld.
I knew one person who would convict his son as a Dayan. Trust me.
Present company excluded, I hope.
So big chiddush.
That was Yoshki.
The shach says, "Kimen de bnei zomaninu, beweisen acher etzle chazim akrivu." Hachinami. Yeah, dayan as aid. The dayan can become an aid with dafka be'aid ha-meid. Aval aid she'en tzach lahayd kigon sheesh acherim she'idu, nas a dayan. An aid can't become a dayan if you need the aid. If there's other aidim, then he could be a dayan, it's fine. The dafka bedinei mammon, aval bedinei fashais, he's mechalak, by death penalty, afilu aid aroya, nas a dayan rekiva, ad kan shayne. Okay, so he's saying that by din nefashis, an aid can't become a dayan. That's
Well, wait. He said no. You're saying by DNA moments an aid can become a dying. No, he said a dying. No, he said a dying can become an aid, but not the other way around.
And aid nase dayan.
That's if there are other aidim, then it can be okay. I see. So if
it seems to me like he's interchanging between the two, and it's the same din. Aid nas a dayan, dayan nas a aid. Like,
yeah, but if he's talking about the case where there are other aidim, it's not just this one. So then he can become a dying, but not by din and nefashos.
but you always need more than one dayan.
Hmm?
You always need more than one. You need 23 dayan within the nefashis. You need 23 dayan within the nefashis.
Yeah. But no, but in terms of having other aidim, that's what he's talking about.
Right. So if there's other aidim, then he can be a dayan, even though he's also an aid.
But not in the case of din and nefashos.
Non in the nefashis. Right. Exactly. Okay.
And the reason is
Ein aid nas a dayan.
but he can be by din and mamo.
So it's different. Why he?
I'm asking why.
I don't know. Let's think about it for a second. Because Zima by dinner mominous.
Doesn't matter. Don't need it.
I guess you know. I guess because Zima. I guess we're more machmer at Zima by dinner mominous by dinner fascists. So even if you don't need them, Xavier, you might end up using him. I don't know. You're worried he might be a test. You might test. I don't know. Lefi daiti. Sorry, I skipped a line over here. Where are we up to? What's the place here? 1 second. Geen kans wat thesis safe pack gegeven b'shem ri einsham. Harry muchach lehedja. Dasari is ibche. Dasari is the opposite. Daf b'mamayin be'in an edu shater chalazima. Even by moment, you need to be able to mazan edim. There's no special din like the sma and the documentation say that by moment you don't have to be mazim. The machshir be'edim akrevim dayonim. The reason why you can be craving to the edim, can be craving to the dayan, is because you can go to a different base than to be mazim by dinim mominus. But levit daiti. Guess what? No one's chaylik on this day. If he died, everyone agrees. Farash, Shevis Yerushalmi, Deidim lo yukreven l'dayarim mishum davi edish le'chalazima, mashma devren dalin moment, eviu, shar ein dakam lavi, mother shach, tafkel in the fashas. The riff, he brings it down in the riff, right? This whole thing. And the riff doesn't talk about stuff that's not relevant. This is, we don't kill people nowadays. This is not relevant in the fashas. So it must be, the riff is talking about the mominus. That's what he's saying. V'chein l'oile divrei ha'rosh, peg beis ksuvas gabi kiyum. Chekos of Iran, sheher v'chein mashma pasha d'sugya. Okay. Fine. Nearly exactly like came me'ashas. The gam b'mom yid eish d'chalazima. The reina b'shas. Reish pek echad din moments. Listen to this. It says, Dvat Taira echad din maz echad din nefashas. Tzarich drisha v'chakira. We saw this Gemara 10 times now. My time, I'm going to do maz leben drisha v'chakira. Shaitis leben levin. But in the class, it's chem din mamrema ukma deraisa. O perek ay bait came umina b'shas. The time of the drisha v'chakira. Why do you do drisha v'chakira? The whole reason for Risha V'Chakira is you can be mazim. So you see, Beferish, that if you have to do Risha V'Chakira, it's only for one reason. So you can be mazim. Why do you do Risha V'Chakira? There's two options. either to see if they're going to contradict each other, or to see if someone's going to be mazim them. The Gemara says the reason why you do Risha v'Chakira isn't to see if they're contradicting each other, it's to see if someone else is going to be mazim them. So you see, by din mominus, you need Risha v'Chakira. It's my first Gemara.
We don't.
That's shalai. That's with David. That's why you don't do it. But mikar then you need it. Vim kain after that's last. Okay. Okay. Skip to the big va'id over here. I want to try and see some other stuff. Va'id. You see no Perek. Skip like 7 lines roughly.
It's a different font. Void.
Va'id. Yeah, it's a big font. Three words from the end of the line. Va'id. You see no Perek. Zeb Beira. Amr of Yudah. Eidus amachasha zeze b'bedikas, kasha b'din mominus. So, what were you medayik from this din? Eidus amachasha zeze b'bedikas kshera. They do bedikas. What's bedikas? Because this isn't time and place. Bedikas is what color was the money? You know, what was the guy wearing? And they contradict each other. So what's the din? Kshera b'din mominus, right? B'din in the fashas no. B'din mominus, the guy has to pay. Mashma.
It doesn't affect the Aedis.
Oh, mashma the what? The b'chakir apostle. It's only kosher by bedikas. But by chakira, again, chakira is sheva chakiras. What month, what year, what day, where it was, time and place. Time and place, if you get it wrong, you parcel. But if all the minute details, what color shirt was the guy wearing? You know, was he wearing a hat? That, you know, it doesn't parcel you. That's the bedikas, right? So, Kumashkos of Rambam. Reish Peg Gimel Chazedus, Smag, the Tov, Amachaber. V'chek Asim Kol Yosef, B'Perek B'Zebera. Kabe Echad Aymer B'Dyuta Leina, one says the top, I was upstairs, downstairs, V'chek Asim Rivosh, the Eidos Amchashes B'Chakiras, P'Sula Fila B'Dibim Mominus. So they all say the what? If they say to each other with Chakiras, it's possible. Dolei Ba'inam B'Hu, Drisha V'Chakira. The Davka Mukchashes B'Bdikas, U'D'Ksher B'Dibim Mominus. But if any they get the chakiris wrong, they get the wrong time. No one argues. This one says he lent the money on Sunday. He says he lent the money on Thursday. It is possible. Why is it possible? Like Rashi says. What did Rashi say? Shehuzma Shazoma Toli Bahen Ala Bekain Shchayim Bekain Levanim She'ein Din Azoma Toli Bahen Ad Kan Rashi. So Rashi says the whole reason why Lefi Rashi, before Rashi, the whole reason why if they slice each other in bedikas, it's kosher is because there's no din of Azoma there. You can't be Muslim a guy. You couldn't be wearing a black shirt. I was holding all the black shirts. No such a thing, right? They could say it can't be. He was there on Sunday because I was with him in Mexico. It's clear as could be the Eidos Amachesha Zeh B'Chakira Psula. Tante Beinu and Eidos Shata Yochal Azima. The Inlankein Ein Tam Klal Psol Eidos Amachesha Zeh B'Chakirais. Otherwise, there's no other possible reason. Ein Tam Klal lives Eidos Zeh B'Chakirais. Why on earth would the Eidos be pottle with Chakiras if it's not so you can't be mazing them? Okay, Adkan. We're not going to see the rest of it.
After all this, what does the Shach say?
I have no idea. What he's saying?
It's unbelievable. He's going back and forth.
So he's saying, well, we're going to summarize in one sentence. The Shach is saying that, anyone wants a summary here? Shach is saying that Avada by Didim and Mamas, it's the same thing as Didim the Fashas. You need Eid the Shata Yochal Azima. Ella what? Shalatina Des with Loivin. Right? And Shalatina, why do you not ask Eidim on a loan when and where it happened? Why can a star not have the time and date? If you need after Yochal Azima, Chazal made a takana. The takana was, so the bank shouldn't close the doors, that you don't have to have the time and place. We don't ask the Eidim when and where it happened. But if you know that the Eidim don't know when and where it happened, or it doesn't say in the star when and where it happened, it's impossible to be mazim them. Oh. If it's impossible to be mazim them, that's not Eidos Bechlal, it's Bechal not Eidos, right? Okay.
People, well, that's the kind I don't understand, but all right, fine.
Why? What do you understand?
Why would the banks close if you required?
You can't prove anything.
Because they're worried that the Eidim are going to come in, they'll get the dates wrong, and they won't get the money back. So you know what? You don't have to put the dates on the contract. We'll write down, I lend the guy money in front of Adam. He's going to say happened Sunday. He's going to say happened Monday. People get confused. People are stupid, you know. And then I'll get my money back.
When you write a ksuba, the date, place, and time.
Right, because you got a contract. Let's say I lend the guy money about that, right? The guy comes, he says, lend me $100. I say, yeah, where they ate him? Remember when and where it happened. You know, he's got, in a year's time, I want my money back. He'll think it was the wrong time. One of them will make you get the time and place wrong. I remember you lent him $100. When and where it happened? I guess what happened was, obviously, in the time of Torah Sinai, everyone remembered exactly when and where they were 10 years ago, where it happened. But Nechla Shadayris, people started forgetting where exactly it happened, when it happened. So Chazal had to make a takana. People so I'm not going to lend money, and they're getting my money back.
All right, so
This is worthless. They come to basin and they look like fools.
okay, so
So Chazal said, we don't need that anymore. People can't remember. People aren't holding there anymore.
Say you want more, please.
the Eidos' puzzle.
Good stuff. You're underpaying.
If there's no date on the contract, right?
Who's kosher?
It's fine.
Midrabana. Midraisa l'chayres puzzle. Meaning that you're chazima. Chazal said, no, it's good.
His question is,
Otherwise, no one will lend money anymore.
his problem is, you can't claim back from when. You haven't got a date. That's the problem.
The kuchais. Mishabdi. Okay.
So what if the agent say, like, we both agree it was the week after Purim, everyone's feeling good. One says, I think it was Monday, the other one says, I think it's Thursday, we're not sure, but we know it was the week after.
Yeah.
That's okay?
No. Oh, you mean the guy says, I don't know when exactly? That's fine. You don't ask them.
They both agreed that it was the week after Purim.
Yeah. Don't know when.
We don't ask them when it happened. We only ask them if it's a din muruma. If we think that they're playing games, so we'll ask them.
Okay.
And if they get it wrong, they lose.
Purim's after the 15th of the month, so they can't make a mistake.
Is that right?
That was
Yeah, the Gemara, I just had it. I didn't know you remember these things. 15, but it's 15.
Purim.
Take a look at the Chochmah Shleima on page Reish Ches.
Oh, thank God for that.
Page Reish Ches. We'll get back to Shach after because there's a bit more I want to see later.
Oh.
Take a look at the Chochmah
I'll
Shleima.
be with the pie tomorrow. You bring
3
me.
lines from the bottom. 3 lines from the top, rather. Sorry. Kroivei nirtzach yichayim lohed al haritzach. Right? That was the Ramah. You got it?
Yeah.
Nir Beinai. Ein Shach, Sifkot and Tazvav. Should we see it again? That's one we just saw.
Yeah?
Shechiach, the loy be'inem beidis mom, and Edo she'en yochel azima. Ubedika bedrisha v'chakira. Because there, hayna lechatchila. Lechatchila you don't need. Avalim hukchashu b'chakiris. If you start to ask them questions, where, when, if a guy says, I don't know when it happened, don't ask me. Loy mahani, his edus is worthless. Came with the minat Torah, but in an edus, she'ena sha'atoyochal la'azima. Sorry. Edus sha'atoyochal la'azima. Okay, that's the shach.
That's the
right?
key. That's the key.
V'heviraya ma'Rambam. Exactly. V'heviraya ma'Rambam. He brings it right from Rambam. V'huva b'mechaber simen lamed. It doesn't butler. If they get the dates wrong, if you ask them and they get the dates wrong, it is butler. The bakach mishum, the bakach chatam mikayach she'ein ata yochal lahazima. Ein sham. Okay, that was the Eilige Shach. Urim etumim docharayasai. The tumim goes to town. The ein atam mikayach zeh. Is that because you can't be mazanim? Rak the im. Turn the page. Rak the im hukashu b'chakirais. If they contradict each other with the chakiras, haveilu ki'ilu zeh made shaloi lava.
The shock continues.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we'll get back to it, but I want to. Yeah. It's running a bit late. I really want to see this. This Chochmah Shleima.
Not Marshall, is it?
Huh?
Not Marshall, who is it?
Shlomo Kluger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Tumim says is Ki'ilu Meid Zeh Shlei Lava. So what you need to come onto the fact that you can't be makish, you can't do You can't do kasha zoma. One day it says it happened on Sunday. The other day it says it happens on Monday, on Tuesday, right? You can't do a zoma. You can't do a zoma. Who cares about zoma? One, they're lying. One of them's lying. They're contradicting each other. It's ki'ilu zeh made shloi lava. What is he saying? He's saying the other guy's lying. V'oi noson tam achasham ein sham v'lfini is daiti lavi raya ledas urim v'tumim. I want to bring a different raya to urim v'tumim. L'moisik tiyuvta al das hashach and perek amid sanhedrin mesudya the choshen elaz. Okay. The masik shal mashas liyashi b'mad pligu rabbanan rivmei rabbanan the meir svirelei. What's this? B'shloisha. Rabbanan b'esem b'shloisha. How many people do you need? How many dayanim do you need? K'goyin da iskachish b'bdikas apligi b'pugad revaz rabbanan b'kasha l'chayred. Im kein heich kam mei b'shloisha b'shu d'momen shapim mafsadei al dei edim alalu. Fa'al kiven the tam ri ben zakim which was an hedge the b'dikas chakiris mashvelu. According to Rabbi Yechon Zakai, b'dikas and chakiris is the same thing. Im kein kiven the b'momen in hukkashu b'chakiris it doesn't butla. Why would you be mechalik between b'dikas and akosha? Basically, I think what he's saying is like this. Why would it be? The Gemara says, right, by moment, that if the mukashin b'dikas, it's fine. If the mukashin chakiris, it's possible. So what are you going to say? So what's the difference between them? If the problem is they be makish each other, so my nafkamina ben b'dikas and chakiris.
There are things that people don't pay attention to, and there are things that people don't pay attention to.
But why should it both us?
Who told me? We make a tasty. It's a nice word. We make a tasty.
Why
The
should it
Mishnah
both?
says it.
And what?
The Mishnah says if you calls or
The people don't notice.
Yeah.
But you know if the guy gave him a cow or a goat,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a Hakira.
no, there's not Hakira. Hakira is only Mokum and Zman.
7 things.
Sheva Hakiras. Mokum and Zman. Those are Sheva Hakiras.
But not what?
No what? No how? Nothing.
Well, I mean, give a goat or a cow. That's a different type of. That's not exactly Teresha the way we're defining it. That's the definition. Did he lend
What happened?
$1,000?
It's
Did
like
he
more.
lend, did he lend $1 million? You know, it's the etzim.
No, it was worth $100. Yeah, he gave him a cow worth $100. He gave him a goat worth $100. That was he gave him a bag of wheat or a bag of rice,
Barley,
right?
Right.
So
that case.
either way, it was a bag, and they're arguing. He definitely owes him
I've
something.
got a
So,
bag which is
so you say Michal Monam Masai and you make the guy pay the smaller amount.
Yeah.
What do you say? No, they're contradicting each other. This is worthless.
The color of the pigs.
Yeah. So did he give him? He gave him gold. Or he gave him old notes or new notes? Was it worn out black coins, or was it like the new good stuff? Right?
Something else? Or was it?
Vice.
Vice? What's vice?
I don't know.
I would maintain that
heard
there's
it
a
exists.
difference.
I'm not sure.
There's a difference. A cow and a goat is
Yeah,
different
but
from
we pay
was it
taxes,
rice or
taxes
barley
declare something.
or new notes or
Yeah,
old
but how do
notes.
you manage paying
I'm not
taxes?
exactly sure how to characterize it in terms, but there's a difference. It's the etzim of what was known.
It's from me, so he doesn't deal with it. He doesn't deal with it. So how can you have the problem spots and vice after the problem? There's no black and white. No, I mean, you wouldn't know such things. These two on
What's the question?
You need to go to Tibet.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Like, where's the insurance you promised me?
You're right. I still owe you that shit.
You do, you only came
Okay,
to
we're
work.
gonna. I don't want to see the rest of the shach. He basically goes into another couple of stodim over here. But it's important to see one line in the middle of the shach. I'll read that to you if you can't find it. It's very important for the dayan. Don't be chayka. It's like sheyizar. That's like the ikar din for the dayan. Don't start asking rak b'din meruma b'chei gavna. Only if you know that there's monkey business going on here, then you can ask. Don't ask them when it happened to Rabbi Shalom, because if you do ask them and they get it wrong, boom, parcel, right? Make sure you don't ask him when, where, don't ask any kashas, right?
I do have to ask. I mean, it seems that Shlomo Kugler is correct. It's not a question of hazah.
Yeah, it's not a question of azama. It's a question of it's a question of them being slaves to each other.
Yeah.
It's a massive kasha. I had the same kasha, and I was like, "What on earth is going on here?" And that's why I looked at Shlomo Klug, and I'm like, "Oh, he asked my kasha." It's like, you know.
Great minds think alike. Fools seldom do.
But the answer, l'chayra, is what I'm saying. That I haven't got. It could be all right, but the answer is what I'm saying. I think the answer may be if you shach. What I'm saying is that. So what's the difference between chakiris and drishas? Why by chakiris? Why by chakiris are they possible, but by drishas they're kasha? It's a contradiction, each other. Say, who cares? Drishas chakiris. If it's got to do with iyatei chalazima. There must be. The only difference is that by chakiras you can't do azoma. That's only nafkamina. That's how the shach's learning.
What do you mean by Drishas? You can't.
No, by chakira you have only by chakiras is a shaykh azoma.
Right.
That's why if they get the chakiras wrong, they're possible. Right? But by drishas, it's not shaykh azoma. That's why it's kasha. That's only nafkamina between the two. You want to say because the guy doesn't remember what color shirt he was wearing. Okay. Some people, I remember much better what color shirt the guy's wearing than if it happened on Monday or Tuesday. I have no idea what happened on Monday or Tuesday. I remember exactly what the guy was wearing though. I think that's pretty common. I don't think it's like weird. I remember what the guy lent him money. Was it a cow? Was it a donkey? Where at? You know, what the guy was wearing. But when? Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? How do I know if it was Tuesday or Wednesday? I remember it happened. Did I check my calendar? I checked where it was. No. Okay. It's part of the same thing, so we're going to see Yud Zayin quickly. We've got 1 minute. We'll just take a look inside. Ha'edim shekravim zelazeh. Ay shekravim l'dayanim psulim. If the Eidim relate to each other or to the Dayanim, they're possible. Okay, we'll see tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem. 10:30.
Right. So,
Don't be late.
1K you donated. So I used one cake. Paid you already?
Did you win?
Yeah.
$7?
I gave you 5, I gave you 6, and I gave you the pie crust.
The pirate.
That was mine.
It's a deal.
Right, so I need another one.
Why'd you get one?
I've only got one.
The problem is, my CD collection that has all the Jews of Rav Moshe, it's still in storage.
I don't think so.
You need
I
too
have
much.
to do this.
What else do you have?
Who's taking it home?